Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Ask. And my name is Mike, and I am here today with Emma Van Dillen. And Emma and I, we've been friends for a long time. And I just thought it would be fun. I've heard from a few of you of how crazy it is, and sometimes some of the stress that we're feeling as we've all been sort of locked in. And so I just thought it would be fun to talk to Emma. Emma's got some counseling in her background. And anyways, Emma, just say hello to folks and there you go. Hey, everyone. This is Emma's first time on Zoom, so take it easy on here, okay?
Yeah, give me some slack.
Yeah, just for folks who don't know you, give me a little bit of like, you're a mom with a couple of kiddos and
Yes, yep, I got 2 kids. My daughter Layla is 3 and my son Logan is 1. I quit my job back in May to stay at home with them full time. That's been an awesome blessing and something I never thought I would ever want to do, but I love it. And
yeah, right?
yeah, my husband and I, we've been married for 5 years and just living
Very
life.
cool. Hey,
Yeah,
for those of you who don't know Emma, Emma has her master's in counseling. She's no longer practicing,
that's
but
right.
you spent quite a time just kind of getting yourself prepared and even a little bit of time out there, didn't you, Emma, in
Oh
practice and
yeah.
helping people?
Yep, I had my own private practice through an organization for several years. Worked a lot with individuals who had anxiety, other mental health stressors, grief and loss, addiction. So yeah, kind of
Okay.
worked the gamut, and it was a lot of fun.
One of the things that made me think of Emma is knowing her background. And as I said earlier, just a moment ago, Emma, I've heard from a lot of sometimes moms and dads that are feeling the stress of
Yeah.
kind of being at home. They're not used to it. They're trying to juggle a job. And, you know, man, you and I had a chance to just chat a little bit about what maybe could be of some real help, some practical things that would benefit a mom or dad. How's it been going in your house? How you been doing with it?
I laugh because my husband works from home. So I'm
Okay.
used to him being here. I stay at home. So
Okay.
I don't feel like too much change. And that's a blessing in my book. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people are going through a lot of hardships, a lot of changes, and that's not easy. My husband also travels for work. He's on a
Okay.
travel ban right now. So he's even home more. So there's been some almost positives to this experience for us. There has been some struggles, obviously, but it's
But by
nice.
and large,
Yeah, I say
then
that we got pretty lucky.
yeah. Well
Yeah.
then be gracious to the people whose world has sort of like gone all bat crazy on them.
It can be, the days are long. I won't lie. Staying at home all day with the kiddos, it can be very, very long. Yes.
Well, I'm going to start with this, Emma. You and I, we had a chance to talk a day or so ago, and I loved what you said in terms of when we just coming out of the gate was you just talked to me a little bit about people just being kind to each other, giving each other a little grace during something like this. Do you want to elaborate on what that looks like, or what do you meant by that?
Well, yeah, I think, we're all going through some sort of capacity of a grief experience right
Okay.
now. A lot of times when we think about grief, we think about the physical loss or the death of someone.
Mm.
But we really do experience grief when we go through any sort of big change or when there's any sort of loss. And we definitely have a lot that we're grieving right now. Our sense of freedom, our sense of safety. A lot of people are grieving a stable income, losing their jobs, and a lot of missed expectations. I know individuals that have had to cancel their weddings,
Mm.
cancel family vacations. So there's a lot to be sad about right now. And not only sad, but anxious, scared, angry, frustrated about. So I think it's just helpful to keep that perspective in mind. That way, not only can we be more kind and gentle to ourselves, but we can also have a little bit more understanding maybe when our kids lash out at us, or if our husband or wife maybe says something that
Sure.
feels a little bit off. It's helpful to remember we're all going through a lot of changes, and that can trigger that grief response in us.
Emma, man, I loved it because normally I think when we think of grief, we think of the loss of a friend, right?
Right.
I mean, 98% of the time. But
That
man, you hit
physical
on some
loss.
key things. Grief is just losing something, right? And feeling the emotions and the pain over whatever that is. So yeah, like you said, the just the grieving that we've lost normal,
Right.
right? You
Our
know,
sense of
whatever.
normal is not here right now, and that can create a lot of different emotions for us and a lot of different experiences. So if you're feeling sad, scary, angry, congratulations, you're human. You're going
Yeah.
through a very normal experience right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think that can be helpful. Just giving each other some space and some grace, right? To feel what we're feeling and know that we don't have to stay there, correct?
Right.
But it's okay to feel that, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. In the counseling or mental health world, we kind of talk about something called clean emotions and dirty emotions. So when we talk
Okay.
about, going through the grieving process and having some anger, sadness, or anxieties, that's a normal, clean response to the experience that you're having. But sometimes we kind of dirty it up by judging ourselves, being hard on ourselves, setting too high expectations of, I shouldn't be feeling this way, I should be over it, dealing with it better. And those dirty emotions just add another layer of pain and another layer of struggle to an already really difficult situation.
So Emma, one way that maybe I'd never heard it really expressed that way. So one way it might be dirty would be like, I should be able to juggle a full-time job and teach my kid and
My household and cook
keep my
dinner
household
and,
clean, right? And
yeah,
keep,
bring in an
yeah.
income. No, that's impossible. I don't know anyone that works full-time, stays at home full-time, teaches their kids education full-time. That's way too much to put on any one person. So we just have to lower our expectations. And I heard a counselor once say, if something's impossible, you have no obligation to try. So let's not just set it that high.
Yeah, we're not necessarily wired to be superheroes, even though we watch them on TV, right?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So what, Emma, what are some of those, let's just, if we can explore for a moment, what are some of those dirty thoughts that we might, so judging each other or maybe judging myself, or what else comes to mind that fit in that camp?
Yeah, definitely judgment thoughts, criticizing yourself or
Okay.
else. I'm trying to think off the
Being
top.
critical maybe, or
Yeah,
harsh maybe,
yes,
would that fit in
critical.
there?
Yeah, just putting yourself down and just not allowing or accepting what's showing up. If you're feeling sad, it's much more helpful a lot of times just to acknowledge and accept that there's some sadness here. And accept doesn't mean that we like it, we want to have it, but it's a fact of life that sometimes we do have it. And again, when we don't want that emotion, when we try and push it away, we can sometimes add more harm than just saying, okay, I'm sad, and now what can I do about it?
Oh, so all right, I love that. So let's say that I'm dealing with this and I am genuinely, I'm hurt by, man, it could be my fears about the future. It could be my fears for my kids. It could be I'm out of work and am I going to get another job? What are maybe some healthy responses, Emma, that I might take to help me kind of move past that fear that's bubbling up in there?
Yeah, because when we're going through something like that, our mind shows us scary images and pictures. It jumps
Mm,
to that worst case scenario. We have a lot of physical discomfort and our emotions are all over the place. So it can be helpful, okay, to recognize that, all right, this is a difficult moment, and kind of bring yourself back to the here and now. Stick to the facts. This is a difficult moment. Where can I find some balance? Where can I live in the gray here? Also today, I got to go outside with my kids and the weather was
mm.
beautiful. They were running, they were happy. I got to go on a walk with my significant other and we had a really good talk and that felt good. You don't want to try to avoid the scary situations because some of those are in fact possible. And you don't want to try and like cheese it up and make something that feels hokey and not true. But kind of living in that gray of, yes, there is some scary and that's okay, but here's also some good, and try and find that gray that you can live in that doesn't feel like you're trying to avoid or, you know.
That's going to be a deliberate act, won't it, Emma? In other words, it won't come naturally. I'm going to
No,
have to really think about that, right?
yeah, it feels counterintuitive to allow those scary thoughts
Mm,
and images and feelings. It feels like, oh man, they're going to take over, they're going to be too much. When in fact, when we kind of allow them, they get a little bit quieter.
okay.
They don't have so much power. And then we make space for some of the thoughts and feelings on the other side of the spectrum, and we find that balance.
I had a conversation with a good friend here, not within the last couple of weeks, Emma, and we were rehearsing some of this. And I reminded the person that, I personally have had to come back at times when I get a little anxious or nervous and say, as it relates to COVID-19, okay, they're telling us 80% of the people stay at home and recover. That's a
Yeah.
fact, right?
Yeah.
So we see all the headlines of the people passing away and we grieve for that. But the facts are that most of us, if we get it, most of those who get it, stay at home and recover. Here in St. Charles County, where we both live, the numbers of actually diagnosed people seem to be not very high.
Right.
And I have to just remind myself that there may be some other people out there, but the facts are, it doesn't look like it's running rampant as maybe, but it is. The unknown is always scary, isn't it?
Absolutely. And your mind does a really good job of reminding you of those unknowns.
Yes.
Hey, don't forget how scary this is. So we just kind of have to thank our minds, and say, okay, yes, some of that's true. But yeah, like you said, remember the facts, stick to those things and not maybe some of the judgments and the worst case scenarios. And yeah.
Yeah. Emma, is there value in talking about my fears with a trusted friend or not? Or do you find that people are, that comes across as weakness, and so we don't talk to maybe people about what's really bothering us?
Yeah, that's hard. I think if there's someone that you trust and you can rely on, I think absolutely speak with someone, share your fears, because I think a lot of us, like we said, we're all experiencing some sort of grief and loss through this experience. So we can all share and relate to one another. And as long as you go to someone that you can trust and that cares for you and you care for them, absolutely talk about what you're feeling, because I think you're going to get a sense of universality through that. We're all kind of going through this together, make you feel less alone.
Maybe not to the same extent, but you're right. We're probably all somewhere on that spectrum.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
You chatted when we were off camera a little bit about, and you mentioned it just a moment ago, but let's dig a little deeper on what does it mean to lower my expectations? How can you think of some practical ways that would work, or what it would look like, what it feel like to lower my expectations?
Well, one thing, and I hope this answers your question, one thing that when I did work in the counseling field, we did a lot of work on our values. We would talk about what are our top 3, what are our top 5 values.
Okay.
So, if that one of those values is your family, another one is safety, another one might be physical health, one could be spirituality. Try and focus your daily tasks on some of those top values that you have for yourself.
Okay.
If your top values are family, providing for them, and you accidentally miss a Zoom meeting because you were too busy caring for your 3 children, well, guess what? You still lived up to your values that day. You were still taking positive steps forward, and it wasn't necessarily a fail. We can't be expected to do everything right now.
So, okay. So, I think that's really helpful, right? Just knowing what's important to me today. Yeah. That's great. I like that.
Steps. Yeah.
How about any encouraging word? You're a mom with 2 little ones.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Say something to moms with little ones at home. Can you? Because you've been living it, right? Just give me something that would be encouraging to a mom, just kind of maybe ready to pull her hair out because she's there and she doesn't,
turn on the TV. No. But seriously, if you're that close to wanting to rip your hair out and move to Tahiti, turn on the TV and do something for yourself if you have that option. I know some little babies just don't watch television, or maybe the television isn't something that you like to use in your home, but try and find a way to do something for yourself.
So self-care, right? That's what we're saying, right? Take care of our hearts, right?
You got to put yourself first.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Which sounds selfish, but isn't that what, every time we get on an airplane, don't they say, put on your own mask first? Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because you can't take care of anyone unless you're taken care of.
Wow.
And when you're at that point of wanting to pull your hair out, frustrated, anxious, that's your body and mind's way of telling you, hey, I need something. So pause. What is it? Have you not eaten lately? Do you need to just rest your body, lay down for 15 minutes while the kids run amok? Do you need to get outside and get some fresh air? Check in with yourself, figure it out what it is that you need. And it's okay to do that. Your kids will be fine. They have
I
no
love it.
expectations of what's going on right now. My kids are only 1 and 3, but they have no expectations of me right now. They don't expect anything special during this quarantine. So I'm not going to lead them to think that they're going to get anything
Boy, I
special.
love that, right? We were chatting about that, right, Emma? Your
Yeah.
kids don't know that the world's gone all crazy. They
Right.
just know that you love them and
Can't go to
like,
Chick-fil-A and play in the house right now, and they get it. And
yep.
we just make do with what we've got.
We don't have to try and be super mom with have done this great Pinterest craft and had a 4-course meal and looked great, right?
No, we just go outside. They're on their own. No. But yeah, if you like that stuff, great. And if you enjoy it, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But if it's becoming a stress or a sense of something you have to do versus what you want to do, take it off your plate. Make this as easy on yourself as possible right now, because there's a lot going on.
I think that's really helpful because I sense, you know, early on everybody was putting on these crafts and they were doing this and looking, and I thought, man, how long can you keep that up? Because, you know, in the short term, I can see where maybe that, but we're now about week 7 in this.
Right. It causes a sense of urgency in yourself that look at what everyone else is doing. I've got to keep up with everyone else. And you're only seeing a very small blip it when they post those images or the videos of the crafts. So it
just chill.
Yeah, just chill. If you want to do it, do it. But if not, they're going to be okay.
Well, fair.
Yeah.
Hey, I've appreciated the chance just to hang out and chat for a little bit. You've given some very practical, helpful stuff, Emma.
I hope so. Yeah.
If you're out there watching Ask and we can be of help, I'm at Stonebridge Community Church, and we'd love to try and be a help to you. So just let us know. You can reach us through the website or through our email. This has again been Emma, and thank you, Emma, for your kindness and sharing part of your day with us today.
It was nice to see you.
All right, take care, friends.
Thanks. Bye.